I constantly hear people tell me all the time that they have something that they know they need to be doing, they're not doing it. It's called leadership. Now, I'm going to tell you, I just said, everybody got to take responsibility. Would this be the case that bring Puffy to his knees and he cut out all these free calls? Now, I wasn't going to really get into the whole Puffy thing and the situation going on in his personal life in Bad Boy. But after Rodney Jones dropped his case on February the 26th, if you haven't seen it, it's got some juicy things in it. And again, normally I'm not opinionated when it comes to entertainers and what they do in their personal life. But this may be what stops Puffy for being public enemy number one with using drugs and alcohol to sedate his individuals. If you have not heard or seen it, I'm just going to point out two things because the case dropped on February the 26th of 2024. It was filed in the United States Federal Court, Southern District of New York. It is Rodney Jones, a.k.a. Lil Rod, against Sean Combs, Justin Combs' son, and several other of Puffy's constituents that deal with him regarding his record label. And it's a lot. Even Young Miami's cousin, female cousin. So he just didn't go after men. He went after women as well. But you really can't blame him. I'm just going to jump right on to page. I'm going to jump right into this because, it's the most weirdest thing yet, Lil Rod, that he posted. But, he has to ask himself this question. Do you want it that bad? Does anybody want it that bad? They're going to continue to deal with Sean Puffy Combs knowing he going to spike your drink and you're going to wake up naked in bed with him. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but do you really want it that bad? It ain't the amount of money that I want and no covenants that I want. That I'm going to end up high on cocaine. Let me just jump right into it. I'm not even going to go any further. From September 2022 to November of 2023, Mr. Jones produced 9 songs to Mr. Combs' Love album. Mr. Jones lived with Mr. Combs. That was his number one problem. Everyone knows you go to Puffy house, he going to get you. For months, spending holidays, birthdays, and missing major family events. Mr. Jones resided with Mr. Combs' residence located in Los Angeles, California, New York, Miami, and also the U.S. Virgin Islands. Throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones witnessed, experienced, and endured many things that went far beyond his role as a producer on the Love album. The claims raised in the complaint have been corroborated with witness statements, videos, audio records, and images that Mr. Jones has in his possession. Guys, this new case, the civil case that he put up there, this may get Puffy locked up, messing around with them young girls. This may get, even though he called his album Love, he loved not being responsible. You heard the preview. And in this, he distributed ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms. This man is seriously trying to make sure he knock people out. Now, it's in this civil case that was filed, Puffy's got guns. He speaks of him being the one who shot when he was with Jennifer Lopez with Shine. Recently at a studio, this is on page 9 of the civil case. On page 9, let me go, this is what it actually says. Actually started at part 8. Okay, this is Chelan's record studio shooting. On September the 12th, 2022, Mr. Combs held a writer and producer camp at Chelan's record studio, 845 Highland Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90038. Presented at the camp with Mr. Combs, his son Justin Combs, Justin's friend named G. Mr. G is 30 years old, tall, African-American man. In addition to these individuals, other musicians were present at the camp. The writer has spoken to several musicians who attended the camp. One evening during the camp, Mr. Combs, his son, and G were in a heated conversation. The conversation was moved to the studio, to outside the studio into the restroom that was adjacent to the studio where everybody was sitting at. Mr. Jones was approximately 2 feet away from the bathroom door when he heard gunshots ring out. Mr. Jones recalled hearing multiple gunshots. It's page 9. Mr. Jones immediately went into a state of shock, fear, and he When he heard the shots next door, he genuinely believed that he would be the next one shot since he was so close to the door. After the shooting ended, the crowd gathered around the restroom. When the door finally opened, Mr. Combs and Jay and his son exited. G was lying on the restroom floor fatally in a fetal position, holding his stomach and bleeding out of his legs and his hips. Everyone stood around looking upon G, frustrated by the lack of aid to G. Mr. Jones jumped and immediately went in and started putting pressure on Mr. G's gunshot wounds on his stomach. As he was applying the pressure to his stomach, Mr. Jones realized that G was gushing blood from another area in his leg and hip. He decided to lift G and place him on and sit him on the toilet. Mr. G asked the crowd to call the ambulance. Mr. G lifted G and brought him to the ambulance at the studio front door. At this time, Mr. Combs and Justin disappeared to another part of the studio. Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. Now, see, most of the cases that's against Sean Combs or, P. Diddy Combs took place a decade ago. A lot of it, when you got underage girls, is past the statute of limitations. However, in this civil lawsuit that was just filed this week, it's even more crazy because it still got underage girls that multiple people participating in getting to come to the club and giving them that cocktail call. You wake up and find out what happened to you, because that's exactly what he used in that cocktail. I mean, do you remember that all the comedians at one point, even Bill Cosby, kept talking about his Molly that he was in, that situation, to come to find out he was drugging people. How is that any different than what Sean really doing? But here's something else. On page 10, it talks about the shooting, and Lil Rod kept his clothing. It says, line 46, Mr. Jones, Lil Rod has his clothes that he wore today and believes it still has the stains of DNA of G's blood on it. The following are screenshots of the aftermath in the restroom where G was shot by either Combs or his son. Now, this is important because he got the video, so he got the juice. These are not just, he got things that he can collaborate to say this did happen. Now, what's more crazy about this, more than anything else, is that with everything else going on that was in his past, P. Diddy Combs, him being who he is and the stuff he's going through and making these settlements, and got so many civil suits, most of them are older. This is a situation, and that's going to be criminal because it lied on the police report. And on this civil case that he filed and the information that he listed, and he's stating that he lied to the police, that's also important. This is going to be very interesting. Will Rod get pulled down? Lil Rod gonna be pulled down in this, because this is all coming out because Puffy decided not to pay the dude. He produced all these songs, but he ain't want to pay him. He wanted to do what he did everyone else, from Mace. He got Mace, hit him across the head, and all that money Mace absolutely made, and Puffy like, nah, you ain't getting none, but here's like $30,000. Well, he's doing the same, Lil Rod the same way. Now, that's just one thing, but here's something that's in this case that to me is just crazy. He got photos of everybody. Young Miami's cousin who touched him, he's showing it. He got Cuban Gooding Jr., he got Stevie J. I'm not in the music industry at all, but all I can tell you is this: it just keep getting better to make sure Puff never, ever, ever allow any of this buffoonery to continue in New York, California, the Virgin Islands, and then on yacht. Puff got his whole house lit up with cameras according to this affidavit. This man lived in the house with Puff. He knows he got cameras everywhere, and he getting everybody. So, look, this the time, if he got you on film, that it's time to lawyer up. Because you can get him on illegally recording you, because he got dirt on so many people. That's why nobody ever said anything. But this dude, Mr. Jones, the Lil Rod, he not playing with nobody. This part right here is a little bit crazy though, because let me just warn you, there's a lot of explicit photos, and there is a trigger warning in this case. If you go look it up and you get the case number, not trying to be funny, but if you get the case number 24-1457, he's demanding a jury for this case, and I'm telling you, it's got some bombshell explosive information. It's wild, just to be very clear. And Mr. Jones know better, because this is a guy who grew up in the church singing gospel music, decided that he was going to take his gifts and talents that he hone, sing it to God, Yahweh, and take it to the secular community and put himself out there, and now he's sleeping with prostitutes. I mean, he's far away from being obedient as a believer, as he states in here, and then he's blaming Puff because Puff got him too. He drugged him up, woke up with females in the bed with Puff. That, come on, what you think? You at Puff's house, you think you gonna, he ain't gonna get you? I don't know what these people be thinking. Ain't that much money in the world to get me going to Puff Daddy's house, knowing that he's drugging people up, knowing that he's trying to poke you. Forget that. Now, on page, this the part that's, I mean, he got Cuban Gooding Jr. on the yacht, and Cuban Gooding Jr., he got the photo with him rubbing his inner thigh. Come on, Cuban Gooding Jr. I mean, I didn't know you went that way. This is crazy. I mean, that's what really got me. The man got detailed. It's almost like he did a documentary for the feds and laid out this footage. And Puffy was just like, you know what, I'm gonna help you take me out. I'm gonna help you because the situation you got with Biggie and going on with, that situation in Las Vegas with Casey D, and now you got the Cassidy situation, and now this. Some of the other cases he's still gonna have to deal with regarding those women that was able to get that into court right before the last minute. But this is fresh. This got gunplay. This got illegal guns. This got underage women. Unfortunately, the man got it documented. He even got the photos of the underage girls to black the face out though. But it's in the daggone civil case. He's showing like this is this. Look, he got the girls from the strip club that did sex workers. He got photos of them too. This whole thing is laced with corroborating information. Stevie J, he got him exposed. That's hilarious. But if I was Stevie J's mom, you better not even put your lips on me. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, he got photos of picking up the girls from the strip club. Him, going out there. He got people who he got him out there. He put everything in this case. I mean, yeah, they do block some of the underage girls' faces out, but they don't block everybody's faces out. I mean, Puff Daddy's son is right there. He got, like I said, Cuba Gooding Jr. He got Stevie J. They faces just out there. It's wild, but it's true, and it's sad, and it's rude, and it's like, man, I mean, here he goes. He's doing an album called The Love Album, and he loving on people. Again, I wasn't going to really say anything about this, but I couldn't help myself after reading the civil case from a standpoint of seeing how good Lil Rob put this out here. I mean, he must have learned something from when stuff was going on. He's like, no, if this don't work out, I got to make sure that I'm good, because if he ain't gonna pay me my money, I'm gonna make him pay. And this may get him locked up, I mean, to be honest with you, because he does openly admit that he was forced by Puffy to consume drugs, get prostitutes, get underage girls, who was sexually touching these girls, and how he got drugged and ended up waking up and finding out there was girls in his room from the sex workers. Didn't say underage, it say sex workers. But he shows it. He shows threatening messages from DeForest, one of Puffy's staff members. He lists them in here. Muhammad, which is the gentleman in California, and I believe in Vegas, who deals with the police. He exposes him. He says exactly how he, and then he got his previous bodyguards. That's been doing on. He's been speaking out. Gene has been speaking out on that as well, and doing a lot of promotions. Puffy, he got Puffy on audio talking about Sean, that he was the one shooting. That's crazy, And at the same time, Sean did that time. This was back in back when he was messing with Jennifer Lopez. Fahid Muhammad is actually the security from Miami to California. He's the one who deal with the police for the LAPD, and it was made everybody, if they get in trouble, it's the person you call, and he'll get you off the hook because he got good connections, whatever it may be, ex-law enforcement, current law enforcement, whatever he actually is currently. But, whether it's bribery, money money in people's pockets, he's the one to get you off. Several people, because he bore witness, at what was going on in Puffy's house. And he talks about, people who would come over, and when they came over, I mean, he just name dropped. I'm not gonna go too much detail. Like I said, there's a trigger warning on this case, and it's really explicit. And It's sad. I mean, look, if you're dealing with this is my only advice, and this is the one reason I said it. Maybe you are currently dealing with him. Maybe you assume you want to deal with him. There's not that many warnings. Remember the three little pigs? You know, one did his house on the sand, one did his house with straw, sticks and straw, and then they did it with brick, and the big bad wolf come. This is a situation where a couple things can happen. Either you're gonna get yourself shot or killed, you're gonna get yourself drugged up and sexually assaulted. By just in this particular one, it's by males and females. He's not the first or last victim. Too many people are looking at they got this covenants and they got these star-studded eyes, and they're going after fame and fortune at the expense of exposing, yourself to not being able to recover and dealing with demons the rest of your life and nightmares from the sexual assault you're gonna get yourself into, or let alone shot or killed. That's just the reality of it, because it seems to me that I never met the man, don't choose to meet the man, and don't choose to be in the same room with him. And I'm referring to Puffy and the rest of his crew. But from the standpoint of looking at this situation, and if you haven't seen the case, unfortunately, this would probably be, because this is as early as 2022. This is not a decade old. This is a fresh case. This is still within the statute of limitations, and I'm pretty sure the LAPD now is going to pick this up now that this was filed in the civil lawsuits, and there's confessions coming that they misrepresented the shooting that took place with G. And even if G don't want to go forward because Puff paid him or whatever, the main thing it's important thing to understand is this: if G is pursuing and saying, hey man, y'all don't understand, it didn't happen that way, but he's scared for his life, this is the perfect bombshell for him. He not gonna be scared no more, because now he's gonna, he can get the civil damages as well as he can get the attempted murder charge. So that's the only reason I want to just give a disclaimer out there. Y'all stay away from Puffy and his parties, because you're gonna wake up drugged and sexually assaulted. See you next time.